Hey guys, how's it going? This is Bada Boopy, and today we're playing Chapter 2 of Buried. So the first time, we basically ended up going down into that really creepy hallway to see what that high-pitched noise was. So hopefully we can actually figure out what the fuck's going on. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Okay, so I think that's literally where we ended, was that hallway. We're standing on a thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used, but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying, but there's a small light further ahead and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe. Why are we in this trouble? We already know why we're... what do you think? Looks like we're waiting for the D train, Dennis says with a deadly sounding crackle. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound, something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis think I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than when we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. I'm sure this is creepy. Yeah, let's make him feel confident. You reassured Dennis. Everything's fine. We're too far to go back, I said. Besides, if we get caught for trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'd slide by. We're good. You're in pain. We've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly, I jerk my head to the right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? I asked Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe. It kind of sounded like footsteps. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are our options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that we'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Ooh, I kind of want to go right, because I'm really curious. Left seems too boring. Like, let's go right. I'm excited. Let's see what's going on. Go right into the darkness. If there's anyone here they're worth speaking to, right it is. Continue. Oh, I'm excited. I wonder what's there. It's probably the complete wrong choice that I wasn't supposed to make, but you know, those are the fun choices to make. As we leave the glow of electric lights, things instantly start to feel a bit more sinister. I look at Dennis's injuries again. The gash along his side is inflamed now, and while the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that has soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep, dark tunnel that has no business being here. He's right. The darkness we find ourselves in feels thick, like walking in syrup. I am reminded of the fear I felt as a child when I had to go into the basement to fetch tools for my dad. I was sure there were snakes or spiders or monsters of unimaginable horror lurking down there. I feel that same way here, walking through the tunnel. That's when I see a human figure, far back in the tunnel, silhouetted in the faint light at the end. He's standing on some other platform up ahead and likely can't see us. It looks like he might be holding a gun, but it's too dark to be sure. Let's stay quiet. It's probably the right, safe thing to do. This person might be dangerous. Dennis, I whisper, don't move, be quiet. We both watch as the figure looks back and forth down the tunnel. It's unclear if he's looking for something, or if he is just as lost as we are. But he can't see us in the dark. After a moment, the figure rushes away through a door. Why didn't you say anything? Dennis asks, with a disgusted tone. Maybe we could have gotten some answers. I don't want to reveal ourselves to anyone who look like they might have a gun until I know more about where we are, I reply. That's smart. I'm gonna just be yelling shit in a dark hallway, or a dark tunnel. That's just creepy and weird. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting closer, is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the voices of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapsed on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. "You know what?" Dennis says, exasperated. "This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby." "Get up, pull it together, Dennis. It's okay, take it easy, you can do this." Yeah, let's be nice. We're already frustrated and scared. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decide to cut him some slack. "Damn, boss, I'm sorry," he says. "It's okay," I say. "I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest." "Stubbornness," he says with a weak laugh. "You need a minute to rest?" I ask, as warmly as I can muster. "No, if I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go." I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway, exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize that the red emergency lights may be on for someone who's actually supposed to be here, like that guy I saw earlier standing on the platform. I don't know. Do I yell? No, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm still not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And if it is supposed to be the secret and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. But then why was that one person still here? This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come to, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. Ooh, I don't know, I feel like I shouldn't call out to him because that's some sketchy ass shit that he's just wandering around, just doing his own thing. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming into the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the wall and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. "But for what?" Dennis asks, and then he asks the question that had been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic ring grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Oof. The dude's turning shit on, doing stuff. I don't know what he's doing though. Continue? No? Do you want to continue? Hello? Oh, perfect. Okay. Hey, it worked. Okay. Must have just glitched out or something. Okay. Oh, so all the lights are on now. This is so sketchy. This is so sketchy. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow, the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm, but for what? Just the power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with two main doors. One door opens onto a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and paper strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny, I ask, as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just going to sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Ugh. What the heck? Oh, I don't know. Lab. Let's do it. Oh. Everything's fine here. Walking inside, I see small vials and glass containers held in a clear glass case. Everything is either glass or silver, and I instantly feel like I am dirtying the place up. I notice several test tubes in the glass cases, as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have clear fluid trapped inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in screensaver mode. Laptop. I wouldn't know anything about the test tubes or what's going on. I hit the enter key and a plain gray background pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on a folder labeled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with formulas and names I mostly don't understand. But there are some things that are easy to understand. Things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery mode: spherical, liquid, induced comatose state first, TerraCore Co., possible plutonium supplier. Look at test tubes. I can't help but check out the test tubes. They're all filled with varying green and light blue fluids. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt resting in the bottom of it. Another holds what looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid, only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. At first it looks like it's expanding and contracting, like a blowfish, then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely. As I look closer, it springs back into the existence in a completely different test tube, and I'm embarrassed when I actually jump back. I take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air, and it makes me think that someone has used this lab recently. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room and see him still seated on the floor. But I don't get far, because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck? Did he get shot? No one got shot. What? What's going on? It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young with messy, dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe if he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been coped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. Dennis jumps up and stands next to me like he's ready to run for it. I recognize him by his height and build. He's the person I could barely see in the dark tunnel. See back in that dark tunnel. Yeah, I don't want to try and die. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. I recognize you. You stomped around and set off the security mics in the entrance. What? I ask, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He is scared, but there's something else. We're just loggers. We're nobody. Just shoot us. Don't shoot us. Don't shoot us. Not just shoot us. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, bullshit. But for some reason, I'm pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look. We don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation? I think to myself, if only I had left that damned ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. Do we trust him or no? I don't know. I'll trust him. We have other crew members that we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asks, seem confused. If this man thinks that we're nuts, there's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how do you get in here? The man asks. I pointed down the hall and towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. Please put the gun down. Definitely. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. With that, he sticks the muzzle of the gun in my face. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Definitely. Step between Dennis and the gun. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says, but now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. What does that mean? For what? I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me back with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense, and honestly, it makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? No, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I'm the president. What the fuck? No, I say. We're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story, the man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he said. Sooner or later, someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward, as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then, in a movement so fast that I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he is moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. Uh-oh. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I am paralyzed, in shock for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall I could use as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Oh, fuck. Nah, punch him. Punch him in the face. Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never, really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back and the grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized, and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. It's probably a bad idea. Damn it. I don't know. He's definitely out now. No threat. Or at least that's what I think. Oh, fuck. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick to my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelids swell to the size of a grape almost immediately. It seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me and takes it with his shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, I said, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same thing, right? Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I take a hard look at the man before I reply. We get answers from this guy. No answers, as the man says. I don't have any. Next time, I won't just hit you, I say, plunging to the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to an end. A single elevator waits for us. Its steel sliding doors longer than a normal elevator. Oh, see, I'm glad we didn't keep punching him. Kind of curious as to what would have happened if we did, though. Okay, what's gonna happen? Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name, I ask. Marcus. And where you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be? I ask. No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit for my friend here, I say. Where might we find one? Down on the second floor, he says, but we can't go down there. We are going down there, okay. What's on level 2? He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. Ooh, it makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend, so take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go in with a friggin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get into for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. There you go. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. Makes me think that things could have gone terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure it would be more productive to threaten him or to ask for sympathy. Ask for help, definitely. We don't want to be a dick. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day for us. We're just trying to find out what's going on, to find our crew, to survive. I know that this isn't the normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols have been blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the hall elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. Ooh, what's in that freaking elevator, man? Oh, man. So much anticipation. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad in front of the right panel by the door with the options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get the first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here, I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Only once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly, we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill the space. What can you do? Figure out a way out. Marcus bristles at the question, but I think it's fair. I mean, he's not allowed to unlock the doors or even get medical supplies. Why keep a guy around who can't even grab a band-aid without permission? Without me, nothing would get done here, Marcus answers me. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living... The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground helping idiots who can't even trust me with keys. What goes on here? Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me, I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I ask, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. What's your job? I handle the IT work and make sure the databases are up and running. It's a 24/7 job. I haven't seen sunlight in almost a year. Damn. I wonder what staying in this place like this for that long would do to someone's mind. I was recruited, he continues, because of the workload. No one else wants this job, but I don't really mind being by myself. No family. Plus the IT is some crazy shit. Crazy how, I ask. This place generates over 100 terabytes of data per day, he answers, getting the slightest bit excited before his face falls again. What knocked the lights out? What happened here? What knocked the lights out? Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then what? Dennis asks weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? I ask. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but the only one lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I asked, feeling a sharp fear worm its way back into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place? Marcus gives me the grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case, you know? So we're still, just in case of what? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors at high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? Oh man, that's already end of chapter 2. Alright guys, this is getting really exciting. We're gonna start figuring out what the fuck is going on around here. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, liked and subscribe, and I will see you in chapter 3. Thanks guys.